The Randumb Show. Inside knowledge of TV, pop culture, and game shows. With your host, executive producer of Let's Make a Deal and The Price is Right, Mike Richards. Joined by the shortest moral compass on podcasts, Beth Triffin. And now, The Randumb Show.
And here we are. Welcome to the podcast. The Randumb Show is on. I'm Mike Richards. Beth Triffin is off today. She's not getting paid today. Wait, she doesn't make money on it anyway. But Beth Triffin, the shortest moral compass on the planet, is out of town, and she's back home in Illinois, Ohio. Yeah, you know, one of those. And she is, her little brother's graduating.
Yes.
And she's going to a wedding, but not her own, guys. She's still available. So sitting next to me, the always reliable, the always in town, Jen Bisgrove. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Yeah, good. I thought that went great. An epic week. We have a fantastic show planned today. We're going to be talking to Derek Bergen. He just won $20,000 on Let's Make a Deal on the show that aired yesterday. Unbelievable. We're going to talk to David Michaels, the co-executive producer of the Daytime Emmys broadcast and the senior executive director of the Emmys. And I might have been nominated for a couple of Emmys.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's going to be like that all week.
All day.
All day. And then, of course, we're going to go to Alex Davis, the editor, chief contributor, I believe the founder, and maybe the messiah of Buzzer Blog, the one-stop shop for all game show and a lot of different things, a lot of different news. But an epic week. I had one of those weeks where, and I tweeted about this, and I rarely tweet anything interesting, which is something I'm working on.
That's true.
That's true. That I had, I looked back, I got to Friday, and I was like, good Lord, I had a long week. So it started with my 20-year high school reunion.
You're old.
You know, some people are like, God, only your 20-year? And then Jen Bisgrove.
I like to bring them down.
Like, yeah.
You can't be nominated for all these Emmys and then...
No, sure I can. Come on. So it started with my 20-year reunion, which was fun. I think secretly you hope that everybody's going to look bad.
Right.
And that they're all going to have lost their hair and be fat.
Right.
And that goes for the guys and the girls.
Right.
Because a balding woman is a beautiful woman. Let's be honest. But I went to a very small private high school, so there was only 87 people in the graduating class. 30 people showed up, which was actually a pretty high return rate, but still only 30 people. And everybody looked pretty good.
And you were sad.
Which I was kind of bummed out about. Not that I wished ill on people from my class, but you know, you want to go back and be like, hey, huh?
I'm the hottest one here.
Yeah. That was not the case. But you know what's awesome is I grew about 4.5 inches after high school, and I'm still not a tall man. But when anyone from high school thinks of me, they think of me as being 4.5 inches shorter, which is painfully short. So it's always good to go back and like, hey, man, you really grew. I'm like, yeah,
growth spurt.
I did that like 17 years ago. I had a little growth spurt. But it was fun, and the best part was I had a bunch of my buddies that were all still very close, and they live all over the country, and they came into town, and we ran cars, and I have a couple extra cars, so we went out and drove some of them. We broke 2 of them. Right. Two of 5 we broke. We overheated one, and we snapped the steering column on another one.
That's a good ratio.
Yeah, that was
2 of 5.
Two of 5 that we broke. I was so excited to have my friends drive these cars that I'm so proud of, and none of them had driven, I think, any of them at that point. And yeah, one, we realized something was wrong with the steering as we were pulling out, and then the other one overheated halfway up Angeles Crest, which is like a windy, fun, kind of racetracky road. And so we took them back and went and got pizza.
Oh, fun.
Which then, so from the high school reunion, which was epic, I went to the emergency room for the first time in my life.
That was your first time?
I've never been to the emergency room. I've never been to the doctor sick. And I've never missed work sick.
Yeah, everyone was shocked when you were out.
Yeah. And then, so I was out and ended up in the emergency, drove myself to the emergency room, because that's smart. Yeah.
Normal.
That's good thinking. And so that was interesting because, wow, it was in Pasadena, very nice hospital. But you see some interesting people when you go to the emergency room. And I don't know whether that's every emergency room. Have you been to the emergency room?
No.
Yeah.
Except for when I was like a little kid and had stitches, but I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There weren't cool people like the ones you saw.
No, we saw, so I am doubled over sick and have been for 2 days. To the point of desperation, I decided to go to the emergency room because I don't know what else to do. And literally, so we had one guy, my wife got there a little later, and there was one guy that was literally on crack or meth, or I don't know, because I don't do drugs, so I don't know what they look like when people are strung out on them. But so this one guy was like freaking out and yelling and screaming for penicillin and then begging people to help him spell it, which was my favorite part. And the people were like, P-E-N. I was like, you don't really need to. He's not really listening to you. So he's screaming and sweating, and then he would sit down and pass out. And so that guy was awesome. And he's screaming and yelling. But what's amazing is the emergency room people not even flinching.
No.
And you're looking around because in any other situation where a dude is strung out on crack and he's screaming in pain, like, stop, like screaming, that would be abnormal and people would take note. Not in the emergency room. Apparently that's just – and it was Monday evening, by the way. I don't know why
That's what shocked me.
I don't know why I thought Monday evening would be a mellower day in the ER, but I thought, Friday night, Saturday, that's when people are stupid, and IQ's up on Monday. But no, that was not the case. So that was interesting. There was – and then the other interesting thing that happened was there was a homeless guy who had gangrene, so that was – awful. That was pretty much, and he was in my room once I got to the room. Oh yeah, of course, because I couldn't help but look.
Yeah.
Because I'm that guy. So yeah, so that was amazing, and then and sad, and then we had a biker gang come in. So one guy comes in with a cop in handcuffs, and he's got like a vest on, and he's got like a name on. I can't remember what his name was, and then like not 20 seconds later, in walks his biker, like a legitimate biker gang. Like, and I realize I think of a biker gang as what you used to see on the pilot of Knight Rider, or I think maybe it's the second episode of Knight Rider. Like Knight Rider takes on a biker gang, and he like knocks him over. Oh, it's also in Smokey and the Bandit. There's a biker gang that messes with the snowman in Smokey and the Bandit. So that's my exposure to biker gangs. I didn't know they really existed. And so in walk these 6 very hard but young-looking men and women.
Really?
And they all have matching vests on, which to me, that's not cool. Like, you stop wearing matching jackets in high school when you stop wearing the Letterman's jacket. Like, you don't go, all right, bro, what are we wearing tonight? You want to wear the super cool leather vest? And they each had, like, a name. Like, there was the Prez, but spelled with a Z, P-R-E-Z.
So
he was
he's
the
Prez.
Guy. I didn't ask him because I was doubled over and wanted to die, and I was screaming for penicillin. And then there's like the Prez's lady, that was her title. So there was like, and they each had a thing, and I was like, I don't think you can look hard and tough in matching vests.
No,
even if they're leather, even if you've got tattoos and the teardrop, tattoo under your eye, which has to look so awesome at 73, like the teardrop eye. Tattoo. But anyway, so that was my experience there. And then so I'm sick. And then an amazing thing, Wednesday, Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal get nominated for Emmys. I get 2 Emmy nominations in one day. You're welcome, Jen Bisgrove.
I would just like to blame myself. Every category I submitted got nominated.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, because Jen there's a copious amount of paperwork you have to fill out to get submitted.
I only blame myself for this.
Yeah. I didn't get nominated for Pyramid. That was a bummer.
Yeah.
But I didn't really expect it. I mean, it's not really picked up, so it's kind of like a canceled show.
Right.
Like Arrested Development. Maybe it'll come back in 7 years on Netflix.
That
would be amazing.
Bring it back on Netflix.
So, an epic week. Lots of ups and downs. And but mainly down because I ended up in the emergency room, which is awful. And I missed 2 days of work, which was crazy.
That was weird.
It was really weird. And but I did watch it on a feed at my house, which my wife thought was insane.
She did?
Yeah, she was like, "You're the dumbest person I know. What are you doing trying to watch the show?" Because I was so sick.
I've never heard you sound that way.
Yeah.
We would call you for calls, and you'd be like, great, I'm ready.
Well, no, I lost 9 pounds in like 8 days.
Lucky.
Yeah, no, that's not lucky. I didn't have 9 pounds to lose. But anyway, all right, so now let's go to a guy who's having an even better week this week. Derek Bergen is on the line, and he won $20,000 on Let's Make a Deal.
Yes, I did.
There it is. So the show aired yesterday. You watched it. Congratulations on your episode airing and getting to tell the world about it.
Oh, man, that was the greatest feeling ever. It was almost a better feeling than winning the money to begin with. Having to wait all the time and keep it bottled in was crazy.
Yeah, because we don't let you say anything to anyone. So did you tell people?
Let me say a word. It was crazy.
That's awesome. So, yeah, because we don't like it. We don't want to give away who won and who didn't. So did you tell people you were on the show?
I didn't. I was too scared at that point. Once I heard, you couldn't say anything about it, and there was a possibility of losing the prize, I kept it bottled in. I didn't say one word. They called my mom on the show, and I was the only person I was going to call and kind of tell about it, but they took that away, so I was just freaking out. I couldn't tell anybody I wanted to, but I didn't want anybody to leak any information out, so for the first time ever, I kept a complete secret for a really long time.
So, when you came to the show, were you there with other people?
I wasn't. I actually came all by myself.
You came by yourself. I love that.
Wow,
and then
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then did you today when you were watching the show? Are you just by yourself watching it?
I actually have my roommates here. I live in the college housing, so I live with 3 other guys, and I kind of woke them all up, and I was like, hey, guys, I kind of want you to come watch something with me. So, being early in the morning, they're all groggy and kind of mad at me, but I really didn't care. It was a good enough situation to wake them up. So luckily, I got to watch it with 2 people. So
we're on the phone with Derek Bergen. Won $20,000 on Let's Make a Deal. The game was Smash for Cash. We'll get into the game in just a second. But you came by yourself, which is an unusual thing. People do come to Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal and other shows by themselves. Right. But for the most part, it's kind of a social activity, and especially Deal because people make a big deal of dressing up and doing that. What made you decide to come to the show that day and by yourself?
I had just moved down here probably 2 weeks before that. I just gotten out of the military probably 3 months before that. So I didn't know anybody down here for one. I had a couple like my roommates and people like that I go to school with. But to me, it was just one of those like, hey, I'm in a new city. I want to do new things. I kind of need to branch out on my own. Being in the military, stuck around people all the time. It was just this thing. I don't know. I've never really done stuff like that before. I'm usually always around people, but some told me that day, hey, just go out. You're down here by yourself. You're on a new path. You're trying to start new things. Just try this out. Go by yourself. See what happens. And I was right, man. I was absolutely right.
I'm going to say you were pretty right. What did you do in the military? What branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Air Force. I was a fuels troop, so I just basically gassed planes all day.
Nice. Hey, you know what? An important job because if you don't, they don't fly as far.
Pilots are pedestrians.
CBS cares. CBS cares. That's a CBS cares message right there. Okay, so
do.
what were you dressed up as?
I just wore some military gear. I was myself. I mean, that's another thing I like to do is always be myself. So thinking about crazy costumes and everything like that, I was like, let's represent myself, who I am, and it kind of is seen as a costume because not a lot of people put it on. So I figured, hey, let's go completely as me and start this thing off right.
And both Let's Make a Deal and Price is Right are really what I consider like Americana shows. My America.
Not mine.
Not Jen Bisgrove's America, but America. And so I love having people from the military on because there's just something about seeing someone who has served our country, not to get cheesy, but who has served our country, coming on a show, having fun, and then winning something. For me as the producer, it's a great feeling. So, and I think it's reflected.
I definitely appreciate that. We definitely appreciate that. And it was sort of for me too, just getting out of the military to kind of show my patriotic side, especially to all the people that were still, back at where I used to work at, just to show them, hey, you can get out and you can make something of yourself and still be proud of what you did in the military. Getting out doesn't mean you don't care about it. I still hold that very near and dear to my heart. So it was kind of a paying homage to them too. So
that's our goal. It's amazing when people serve. That's I think the coolest thing in the world. So you decide to come. You come to a show that happens to be our Publishers Clearinghouse, one of our 5 Publishers Clearinghouse Big Money Week shows, which just means that they've given us more money than usual to give away. And you got picked. You got picked to play Smash for Cash. What act was that in?
I was the second contestant. Well, I had 3 contestants go before me, and then I was the second one to come out. It was like the second game.
So you're in Act 2, and what we did in that week, it's a really cool thing that we do in Publishers Clearinghouse. Super generous. They basically just give us $100,000 to do with what we want. And so what we did was in each episode we hid $20,000 somewhere in a deal.
Nice.
And if it didn't get won in one part, we just moved it to a different part of the show because we were hell-bent on giving it away. One of our favorite cash games is Smash for Cash, and just a quick, for people that haven't seen it, there's a bunch of pigs, and there's 2 zonks. I think there's 10 pigs. I'm so bad at this.
Yeah, there's 10 pigs.
And
I remember. There's 10 of them.
Yeah, okay. There you go. I've only seen the game 100 times. So there's 10 pigs, 2 of them have zonks, and the rest of them have money. And if you are able to avoid the zonks, both zonks, you keep getting money. like dollar bills, and then you buy your way up a money ladder. So it's, it starts off with, I don't know, was it $500, $1,000, and basically it ends up at $20,000. But there's a big risk going from the $5,000 point to the $20,000 point. And Derek, I don't know if you know this. We're on with Derek Bergen, who won $20,000 on Let's Make a Deal, but no one has ever won Smash for Cash.
And that was so crazy to me when he said that, and I think that I was too excited about winning to actually let that sink in until I watched the show today, and that's pretty insane. Pretty insane.
When you're me and you're sitting on the side of the set, watching the monitors, running the show, I was pulling so hard for you because basically it comes down to you've got a 50-50 chance. There's 2 pigs left, and you got to pick the right one. And we wanted you. You were a great contestant, obviously.
Thank you.
And we were like, come on, please go for it and please win. Please don't go for it if you're not going to win. And there's no way of knowing that. So we were pulling hard for you. So you now have $20,000. What are you going to do with it?
I want to do so much, man, and it's so crazy when you start thinking about that. You gotta prioritize things and whatnot. So I just calmed down and I said, listen, what are the things I want to do the most? What are going to make me happy with this money? So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously, is help out some family members that have really supported me all throughout my financial troubles, and even when they had last to nothing, they gave me money. So I'm going to help them and relieve some of their financial stress as much as I can. And then also there's a cause called Aaron's Last Wish, which I found on Facebook like a couple of years ago, I believe it was. And the guy's name's Aaron Collins, and he passed away, and his last wish to his family was that they would go out to a dinner and just give the waiter or waitress a very, very generous tip that could change their day and maybe their life. So they made this Facebook page about it, and people have been giving generous donations to the family, and they've been able to continue doing that for week after week after week.
Wow.
So that's something I really, really, really wanted to be a part of, and I'm either going to contact them and just give a donation, or I'm actually going to go out myself and shoot the video and send it to them and see, if they'll put it up on their page to get other people to be a part of that whole journey too. So
that's very, man.
Things I want to do.
Jen Bisgrove, you know what Derek is? He's better than you.
I'm cheering up a little.
I wouldn't say that. Hopefully I can encourage people to be better.
To sum it up, he defended our freedom.
Right.
And now he's going to take care of family members and try to and leave a giant tip to try to make someone's life better. What did you do today to make the world a better place, Jen Bisgrove? Exactly, Derek. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Did you smile at least one person today? Because if you did, then you did something.
Thanks, Derek.
You notice she didn't answer it because the answer is no. She didn't smile at who?
I guarantee you she's going to leave and smile at somebody now. Watch.
Yeah, that's true. No, Derek, that's very cool. The coolest part about my job and working on these shows is when great people win big on the show. I'm so glad you won. I'm so glad someone finally won Smash for Cash.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for using that money wisely. Keep a little something for yourself, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely doing that.
Yeah. You're a student, for God's sakes. But
I'm going to put some in savings, and I'm going to also, help further my career and buy some, music equipment and things like that, too. So not all of it's going to everybody else.
Yeah, keep a little bit for yourself. Thank you so much. Congratulations, man.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. It's been a great opportunity, for sure.
Yeah. All right, have a great night. All right, well, that guy, Derek, what a good guy.
Better than both of us combined.
Well, how dare you? If it wasn't for me, there wouldn't have been a Smash for Cat. You're right. Yeah, I can't even really defend it. I mean, literally, so he's a young guy, and he goes, well, I'm going to help give money to people that have supported me along the way. And then I'm going to use some of the money to make someone's day and maybe even make their life better. You know who's really good about that? You know who tips big?
Who?
Drew Carey.
I know. I've seen it.
Like, he is crazy. The most generous. He doesn't do it for attention. Mm-mm. He doesn't do it to get better service or to be a diva. He is the most, and I'm not just saying this, like the most generous guy. He's impossible to try to buy dinner for. Mm-hmm. I have done it. It's like dipping your toe into shark-infested waters with a piranha. Like, because he gets pissed. Like, he really, you cannot buy him a present. People made that mistake when he first started on the show. But he will shower you with presents.
Right.
And, I mean, he's literally, and, what he does for the staff and all that kind of stuff, it's amazing, some of the things he's given us. But if you ever try to repay him, it's not good.
He gets pissed.
It's literally like it's not a good thing. I think he's getting better at it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But because I've been able to buy him dinner, but he requires that he either dictates the amount of the tip, or he gives the tip. And he always, he's always like, so the $30 Bob's Big Boy, we'll leave $200. And I'm like, yeah, you can leave the tip. I'll buy the Bob's Big Boy. But yeah, that's amazing. Derek Bergen. Wow. All right. We are now on with David Michaels. He's the senior executive director of the Daytime Emmys and the co-executive producer of the live broadcast. David, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thanks to the Daytime Emmys, because of my 2 nominations.
That's right. Double nominee.
Yeah, listen, I don't want to make a big deal about it, but how much time do we have left in the podcast, Jen Bisgrove?
We're closing up real soon.
Oh, no. Come on. We got lots of broadcasts left. So, first of all, very cool. We're really looking forward to it. The Daytime Emmys are on Headline News this year. When is it?
Sunday, June 16th, Father's Day. And it's going to be live to the East Coast at 8. We're doing it in L.A. at 5. So in L.A. you could see it live at 5 or you could see it at 8.
Oh, that's fantastic. And, the coolest thing, going to the Daytime Emmys is a blast, first of all. And I've gotten to go now 3 times because, Price was nominated 2 years in a row. Then last year was Let's Make a Deal, and now both. So that is really cool. And I used to produce award shows, so it's not always my favorite thing to go to an award show because it feels a little bit like I'm going to work. But the Daytime Emmys are fun. They're loose. The people don't take themselves too terribly seriously, which is nice. And the best thing that you guys did this year, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you about this, David, but is that you're honoring Monty Hall with a Lifetime Achievement Award. The guy, hosted Let's Make a Deal, helped create it. So on behalf of everyone that works on Deal and everyone who loves Monty, thank you for honoring him this year.
I mean, he's amazing. I've had one phone conversation with him, and I just laughed through the whole thing. He's one of the funniest people I've ever talked to. He is so sharp and so witty, and he's so into this. And also, though, it's a major kind of nod to game shows because the award's going to Monty and it's also going to Bob Stewart, so it's like a double whammy.
Right, and Bob Stewart, also a legend behind the camera. Legendary producer. He's done a ton of stuff. What all has he done? He did Password, right? And
he created Password and The Price is Right, and
the original one.
And of course, his big hit out on his own was, of course, the Pyramid shows.
Yeah, and then he did the Pyramid, which I'm a fan of.
Really?
Even if the Daytime Emmys weren't, we didn't get nominated. The deal with Monty is he's never won a Daytime Emmy. 26 years of Deal. And if you really look at the beginnings of Let's Make a Deal, started in 1962, all the pricing games and all that kind of stuff, the Act 2 of Deal was basically the beginning of what I look at as the skeleton of Price is Right as far as pricing games. And actually, it's been one of the most difficult parts about bringing Let's Make a Deal back was, a third of the show was a pricing game. And it was a half hour. Now we're trying to put on an hour, and we were all very against doing any pricing games because also, obviously, the minute that Let's Make a Deal's over, then Price is Right's on, so you don't really want to see other pricing games. So
I also think it's amazing to look at the morphing. I mean, the original Price is Right, which even I'm not old enough to have actually watched it live, but it was such a different show. I mean, it was this quiet show where models wore mink coats and and now it's become what you've turned it into, which is incredible. But it's just both were right for their times, I think.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. But so Monty has never won, and we got him to go with us last year when Let's Make a Deal was nominated for the first time since we sold it again, and he was pretty anti-going because he's like, we never win. They don't love us. They don't, blah, blah. He had all these things of why he had never won. And his wife has won an Emmy, a Primetime Emmy, I think, for acting. his family is incredibly talented, and he's really one of the.
His daughter, Joanna, his daughter is a Tony winner.
Yeah. No, it's he and I was just telling someone about this weekend. He's the one guy that I can think of off the top of my head of all these guys that are amazing broadcasters. You put Monty Hall, Barker, Bob Barker, obviously in that. Dick Clark, Johnny Carson. Those are the kind of guys. Those are the Merv Griffin. Those are the guys that I looked at and went, "That's who I want to be." And
sure. When
you look at them, the one who pulled it off the best with the family and retired and lived a semi-normal life and then raised more money than any human on the planet at one point in charity is Monty. Raised a great family, still married to his wife. Kids are all successful and lovely people, and he's just a great guy. So I am so excited that he's going to get the Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm dying to hear what he's going to say because he had this. I mean, he is funny, and he hosted a deal. We celebrated the 50th anniversary of Let's Make a Deal this year, and he had this whole theory as why we weren't going to win, and it was based on where our table was in the room because we were way in the back. And so we'll have to get into how you guys pick the tables. But he's sitting there and he's just going,
no one ever believes us that nobody on the production team at the Academy or anywhere knows who's going to win. I mean, that's really the truth. Nobody knows who's going to win except the accountants. And nobody believes us.
So we're sitting there and we're watching the show, and Monty's look at where we're in the back of the house, and we got terrible seats, blah blah blah. And he's going on and on. I'm like, Monty, it's gonna be fun. We're here with the team. It's great. It's great to be nominated. We unearthed the show after almost 26 years off the air. It's doing great. CBS supports us. It's just great to be here. We're never gonna win because of our table placement. And then every table around us proceeds to win. So we're just sitting there like somebody won for like an animated internet short. Somebody else won it. And here we are. Here's just a Let's Make a Deal table like. But the great thing is Monty never let go of the fact of we weren't going to win because of where we were seated. So our table had nothing to do with whether we were going to win or lose, but had everything to do with our body odor?
I don't know, but we got to be really careful where we put you guys this year.
We need to be. So I need a price and deal table right up front.
I love it. Well, he's gonna. One thing I can tell you for sure is that Monty will get his Emmy this year. That's the only thing I can tell you. But.
Yeah, thank God. And just know that you're probably going to run long because he is so quick and so funny and on it, which you heard when you talked to him. So no, we're very excited about it. This is the second year on HLN. And did you co-executive produce it last year, or is this your first year doing this?
No, I didn't last year, but there's the same executive producer, Gabriel Garnell, who's wonderful, and it's an exciting one because it's the Daytime Emmy's 40th anniversary,
right?
And it's Let's Make a Deal's 50th, and it's General Hospital's 50th, and it's YNR's 40th, and it's Wheel of Fortune's 30th. So we've really got a lot to celebrate.
And Price is Right's 41st. Not as cool. Doesn't.
How did I get that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. See, we got to throw that in. And any surprises? Do you know who's going to host it?
Yeah, I think I know, but I don't think I can tell you yet. There's going to be amazing talent. I mean, what I can tell you is we are going to look back over the 40 years. You're going to see some amazing clips and some amazing appearances, and we're really focusing on the past, the present, and the future of Daytime. That's
awesome. Well, we're having
it's morphing so much, with the new soaps that just premiered online and on Hulu. The world is changing.
Yeah. So you guys are you're gonna fold that in. Will that be in a separate category from the daytime soaps that are on the networks?
Well, they're not eligible till next year, so it's still being discussed. We know they'll be eligible, and we're not quite sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if they ended up competing with the network ones. I don't know if you've seen them; they're gorgeous.
No, they're amazing, and we did a big male model search for Price is Right this year, and Rob Wilson was the guy who won it, and now he is on one of them.
All My Children.
Is it All My Children? Yeah. And
they grew up all the children, So he must be one of those grown-up kids.
Yeah, he's one of the kids that all of a sudden is supposed to be 7 years older, but he's 26. He was 7 years old and now he's 26, but they only the time lapse went 7 years.
I love that. Either something takes forever to happen, or the kid grows up in a day and a half. I love that.
Exactly. Yeah, he grew up in a day and a half, and he filled out well. He's a good-looking kid, that Rob. But yeah, no, it does. It looks amazing, and what I love is that we found him, and he is literally in every press clipping, every picture. He is in everything. So I'm proud of him. And he's a good guy. He's a total pro, which is really, really fun for us. So you can't tell me who the host is. I'm assuming, because I haven't heard anything from my agent, it's not me.
We heard that you weren't available.
Well, what?
What?
No, I'll go to the opening of an envelope. I've got nothing. I've got nothing going on.
Oh, yeah, right. Just executive producing 2 game shows.
Oh, come on. As everyone says, they run themselves. Yeah.
No, also the soaps, it's amazing. With the soaps that went off the air, then came back on the internet, the ratings of the soaps are only going up. And yet, also in this contest, the number of entrants in the talk show categories and talk show hosts it was astounding. And now there's just culinary shows and culinary hosts coming out of everywhere, and there's more and more game shows. So, I mean, daytime's an exciting place at the moment.
No, it really is. I really think there's a resurgence. I think part of it was Oprah leaving and an enormous amount of talent on the talk show side moving in to try to fill that vacuum. And that's why you're seeing Steve Harvey, who's amazing, and Katie, and all of these people really doing a great job, and the existing shows really elevating their game because they realize there's a huge hole now, and I think people have really taken advantage of it. I think that's part of the revitalization of daytime. I know Price is Right's ratings are up a staggering amount. I keep looking at the ratings reports and thinking something's wrong. And if we're ever down, I usually just say something's wrong with the reporting. Let's Make a Deal is up even more at different points in the demo. It's really amazing.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, thank you. But it is. There's a resurgence of daytime now. I wanted to ask you, who votes for it? Who are these people, and how does the voting go?
Everybody who votes is a member of one of the 2 academies. There's the National Academy, which is in New York, and the Academy, which is in Los Angeles. Our Academy does the Daytime Emmys, the Sports Emmys, and the News and Doc Emmys, and the one in L.A. does the Primetime Emmys. So everyone who votes is a professional, a member of the Academy, therefore an industry professional. And the voting is all peer voting, meaning that only actors can vote for actors, only cameramen can vote for cameramen, only customers can vote for customers, only writers can vote for writers. So it's all your professional peers voting and judging you. So it's exactly the opposite of the People's Choice Awards.
And so, but on, like, I don't vote for game shows. So how does that work?
Well, you wouldn't have voted for game shows this year because it would have been a conflict.
Right. So that's how that works. If you're in the genre, you don't vote for that.
Right. But you could have voted in any of the other program categories as a producer. Actually, you could have voted in the performer categories because you do it all. So. Yeah.
Oh, stop! Keep going. Jen Bisgrove.
My eyes are rolling so far back in my head, I can't.
So, and then about how many people vote for each category?
It varies by category, but I would say, the bigger show categories, there's probably like 30, 35 people. Some of the craft categories are smaller, but we had a lot of judges this year. We had well over 1,000 judges.
Wow, so 35 people are going to decide whether my 40% chance of winning an Emmy this year is going to come true, or if I just put on a suit and embarrass myself? Well, I'm going to do that either way.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And the other question, ever since the nominations came out, all the fans are tweeting and calling and writing and saying, why didn't so-and-so get nominated, and how can I answer that? It's like, the one thing I can't do in this contest is vote or affect who gets nominated. And I don't understand it sometimes. I got to tell you, there are certainly people I would have thought would have gotten nominated that didn't, and people who did who I thought wouldn't. And it's just, there's no way to predict any of it.
And well, don't you think that some of it can be that different companies put a bigger priority on the Daytime Emmys and encourage they encourage memberships, and then they encourage people to vote, and they're not in their not specialized category.
The way the system really works now, that's not going to help. We don't do the Primetime Emmys does a paper ballot for the first pass, so everybody just gets to vote on that paper ballot for the programs. So, that could make a difference. But here, there's no paper ballots. Everybody's watching what they're voting for. And if it's a conflict for you, you're not watching it. So it's kind of a different thing. It's harder to affect the results in our contest.
Got it. So, because I can't figure out how Cash Cab keeps getting nominated. Isn't it canceled? We're bitter. You need to know. So we're on with David Michaels, co-executive producer of the Daytime Emmys broadcast and the senior executive director of Daytime Emmys. And I'm two-time nominee Mike Richards this year. Just trying to make Jen Bisgrove throw up. But so we're bitter towards Cash Cab at Let's Make a Deal because first of all,
I understand. Well, I wish Pyramid got nominated, obviously, and I don't understand how you didn't. But as far as Cash Cab, they were eligible because they still had shows airing within 2012. And the eligibility period is the whole calendar year of 2012.
Well, it's enough. I like Cash Cab, but it's enough already. Because Ben Bailey somehow beat Wayne Brady. And, am I partial to Wayne? Just a smidge.
I love that show.
Shut up. Does Ben have to drive a car and ask questions? Yes. Is he good, talented? Would I hire him? Yes. Is he doing an eighth of a quarter of a half of what Wayne Brady's doing on Let's Make a Deal? No. Singing, dancing, picking people at random. I mean, and running different games every time. Not the same game. I'm just saying we're tired of Cash Cab. And we actually put together, and by the way, I do actually like Cash Cab, the show. But we were actually going to do when Ben Bailey beat Wayne, and then Cash Cab got nominated and then won, and we didn't. Price was nominated. We were going to do an entire episode of Let's Make a Deal with Wayne in a taxi on the stage and call it our shameless. Maybe we might have had a couple of beers at this point. We're at the after party in Vegas. I'm friends with some of the guys that do Fifth Grader, which had also lost to Cash Cab that year. And so this was my plan, was to put him in a taxi and have him host the show to show how hard that is compared to
I would watch that in a second.
Yeah, well, and then it was our going to be our shameless we want an Emmy nomination and win show. And one last thing for you, is there anything what people don't know is we submit an episode of the show for the people that you're talking about, the judges, to screen. And
right.
And then you can write a paragraph about it and all that, which is really neat. That the paragraph thing is available now, and we can kind of explain why this was special to us because there's so many shows that it's hard for everybody to keep track of. Do you think, as someone who has an interesting point of view, picking a special episode is a better way to go in that to cut through, or are you better off picking just a great normal episode?
That's been like the great debate of all time. With the game shows, with the soaps especially. And I don't think I can give you an answer in that some people get wowed by the special episode, and then some judges will say, oh, yeah, but that's not what they do all the time. So there's no answer to the question. It's like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. You just got to make your decision. Obviously, people put in special episodes like in the costume area or the directing and lighting area.
Right.
But
right.
As far as the show entries, I think it could help you a lot or hurt you a lot. And I just gave you no help at all with this question because I don't know the answer.
Well, that was very not helpful.
I've seen them lose. I've seen them win and lose for doing that and for not doing that. So.
Well, you've been very not helpful in that way. Because it is the most painful. So, we do 190 episodes a year on Price, 175 on Deal. And then Emmy time comes where we have to pick a show. So then all of the senior producers go back and watch a bunch of episodes to see which one they like the best. So not only are we editing and screening and all of that, all of the shows, we go back and we're really careful about it because it's very important to us. And it's always this huge debate of, do we put up a special? And last year on Price is Right, which was the first time we hadn't been nominated since I had revamped the show and taken it over, we put up the April Fool's show, which was, to me, far and away my favorite show that we've done. Because we just kept making things go worse and worse and worse. And basically it was a conglomeration of all the things that had ever gone wrong on the show we put into one show. To where by the end of the show, in the showcase, the psych is on fire. Like, everything's on fire. And then something crashes. Drew says, spay and neuter your pets, and, like, lighting falls down and sparks. I mean, it was fantastic. And we didn't get nominated. And execution-wise, production-wise, it was the best show we'd ever done. And then we had a huge debate because then our confidence was shaken because Let's Make a Deal, we didn't put a special up. We just put a great show up, and then it got nominated. But David Michaels, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the 2 tables that we're going to have right up front.
Yeah, yep.
Are you in charge of the tables?
Now. Say again?
Are you in charge of the tables?
No.
Who do I need to get to?
Wouldn't I be a fool to tell you I am?
But no, we're looking forward to it. We'll see you June 16th on HLN. Good luck with the show. Have a lot of fun, because when you do a great job on the show, it gets people even more excited about what we're doing each and every day. So thanks so much for being on the podcast, and maybe if I end up with a bad table or something like that, we'll call you again right after the Emmy show.
All right, I look forward to that, but you won't have to. You won't have to.
There we go. I love it. Thanks, David. Have a great night.
I'll see you there, Mike.
All right, so switching gears now from the Daytime Emmys, we're going to go now to Alex Davis, the editor, the head writer, the guru, the Lord and Savior of Buzzer Blog, which is, in my mind, the top game show website going, and also a good follow on Twitter at Buzzer Blog. Alex, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you? Congratulations on the Emmy, since you just brought it up, by the way.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. We're excited. We were just hustling David Michaels, who's the senior executive director of the Emmys, to make sure we get a good table, because I think really, in the end, that's what's important.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He says he can't affect the win or the loss, which, I guess I believe him. But
he says that.
But he and you know what, he has actually a really nice guy. I had a conversation with him a couple weeks ago. We were trying to iron out some eligibility things for some of the producers on the show, and he really likes Pyramid, because I think he worked on Pyramid at one of the incarnations of it, and he was pulling for me to get nominated and making Jen Bisgrove sick while doing.
All during the development of the show, there's a Pyramid Facebook group with a bunch of fans who like him. He's on there, and he was constantly talking about it.
Really?
The entire development. Oh, yeah, during the entire development process, just giving these stories about it. It was really interesting, yeah.
Oh, interesting. See, I don't get into that stuff. I guess I should more. I do. I follow more of the fan sites on Price is Right, just to keep track. I think they're, even though they can be extreme at times, I think they're good. It's a good, as you've pointed out in the past, on some of your tweets are hilarious about Price is Right Uber fans that get very angry if anything's different. But I like to watch it because they're a good way to keep track of what the hardcore fans are thinking about the actual game, which is the most important part.
Makes me feel good about myself, yeah.
Yeah, you've had some interesting interactions. What do you think of that? It's goldenroad.net, I think, is what it's called. What do you think of those guys?
They've given me my favorite moment ever on the site. And I think I may have told you this maybe in the past, so I'm repeating, I'm sorry. But, one of my happiest things since you've taken over the show, and I wrote about it. It was right when you gave away, it was a couple years ago, you gave away some electric car, which was worth like $100,000.
Oh, yeah, the Tesla Roadster. Yeah, the Tesla Roadster. You know what I loved about that we played that in Golden Road, and we played it as part of the Earth Day show. And I don't have a good memory, and I think Jen Bisgrove is shocked and dismayed that I actually just remembered something from 3 years. That was not normal. No, that's not normal me. But I was so proud of that because I thought it fit the theme and totally worked for the show, and it's an amazing car. But anyway, go ahead.
I was unbelievable, and literally like a little bit after the taping, another one of my joys since you've taken over. I do improv comedy. I'm a big fan, and Drew's the reason I do it. So being able to talk to him because of all this has been amazing. But he sent me an email or a message right after saying, "Wait till you see this car that's going to be on the show. It's unbelievable." So I was all excited, and I wrote. It was a joke. It was meant as a joke. I said, "Thank God they've stopped giving away grandfather clocks." And I've never been attacked more in my life doing the website than when I said grandfather clocks were stupid. Like, the hate mail I got was beyond comprehension. And this is a joke. I did a fake poll on the website where it just said, what do you think of that direction of stuff? And the only two choices were grandfather clocks or dumb prize for 2011 or so, whatever it is, or Alex is a douche. And Alex is a douche won by a landslide.
That's fantastic. Yeah, there is. Listen, when I'm a grandfather, I will love grandfather clocks just like everyone else. But Drew and I, our first meeting at that fateful day in Bob's Big Boy, where I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this, and he's like, I don't know if I want this kid to do this. Like, we were totally sizing each other up, but we both agreed that grandfather clocks was not a good prize. It was a promoted prize, which means we got it free. And actually, one time, as a surprise to him on one of our April Fool's shows, we gave away there was 3 grandfather clocks. And I thought he literally loses it because it's like, it's a grandfather clock, and a grandfather clock. And he's out. Like, he's done. So, yes, you have been attacked. I've been attacked. But they have mellowed, I've noticed. I think they were more freaked out about what I could do than what I had done.
Yeah. Well, that's always what happens.
Yeah. I mean, so it's been mellower. But enough about that. Not as much game show news this week as maybe last time we spoke, which, we were talking about Cedric taking over and some of that kind of stuff. But I did see in one of your tweets that was it Hulu?
Hulu,
yeah. Hulu has a new game show, Money Where Your Mouth Is. What do you know about that?
That one came as a complete surprise, to be honest. I don't know if anyone really knew or expected that, frankly. I mean, game shows aren't considered the coolest thing to do by any stretch of the imagination. And when you're selling Fledgling, who is I know, I'm as shocked as you are. What? And for a place like Hulu, which has attempted to sell itself like several times within the past like couple years, trying to offload it, it's a little bit of a shock to see. I mean, it's just, they say it's hosted by Jay Moore. It's just going to be a bunch of, apparently it's like a guys game show which is funny since that's not really the target audience of game shows either.
Not ever, no. Yeah.
No, never. But like, they're just going to ask like apparently guy questions and have them do guy challenges and, that's as interesting as it sounds right now. Not to be boring about it, but it's.
And when are they planning on releasing it?
Later this year. That's the vague answer they gave. It almost seems like this was rushed out. Another one of those rush things. They're going, oh crap, we have to announce something. Because I know everything, and I heard nothing about this.
Literally,
and this came as a complete
he knows
shock.
Everything.
Everything
that's ever
Not
happened
really,
ever. Well, okay, and then let's go into it. Give me your thoughts real quick on the Daytime Emmy nominations in the game category.
I've been a very, very outspoken fan of Steve Harvey, and I've said the entire season that if there's a year that he's going to win, this is it. And he should.
Know. That's what I'm worried about, Alex. You're killing me. I got a 40% chance of winning, and I agree with you. We should list out so the game show nominees were Wheel, Cash Cab, canceled, Let's Make a Deal, love it, Price is Right, amazing,
wonderful,
a legend, the stalwart of the CBS daytime lineup, Let's Make a Deal, which reinvigorated the genre.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God. And then Family Feud, which is really good.
Family Feud.
I mean, I love them all, but and I also Gabby Johnson, the executive producer of Feud, has done an unbelievable job.
Isn't she a terrible person? I hate her. She's just so negative and angry.
She's making everyone look really bad.
Oh yeah, it's all about Gabby and blah 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 Gabby. No,
well, the casting people this year are unbelievable too. this is a contestant-driven show, and the people that they chose have been just these insane people that go up there and literally say the most horrible things that you can picture in daytime with a smile on their face. These dirty, dirty things. And it's hysterical.
Gabby and her team have done an amazing job hiring, and Gabby is like the sweetest, nicest person on the, like, beyond nice. And they were, that show was basically done. They've got O'Hurley. It's done. And they get one more season. They throw a Hail Mary. They put Steve Harvey in, and he crushes it to Gabby's credit and Fremantle's credit, who I work for. Thank you, Fremantle. Bling, 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 bling. They do a great job.
Ever, and it's been luxury of doing the website, is when it was still in L.A. and John O'Hurley was hosting. I'm a Seinfeld freak. I'm one of those people that can unfortunately name anything about the show, and I got to go backstage and eat sushi with John O'Hurley in his dressing room while he was in his sweatpants, which was surreal. That was one of the best things I've done, and it was because of her, so I owe her so much.
No, she's great, and O'Hurley is a really nice guy. I actually I worked with him. I did a corporate event on an aircraft carrier that I executive produced, and we built a huge screen, and it was this really cool $2 million event that I got to do when I was at DeClark Productions. And O'Hurley was the host, and he was such a pro. He was so good. It was like amazing. But no, so you think Feud's going to win?
I think it deserves to. The show's not been better. Although, do you know what? Since you're involved in this area too, and both of you, I'm genuinely curious about this one because I rant about it endlessly. What do people find fun about Cash Cab, and why does it keep winning beyond the fact that it's this low budget indie looking type show? It's the most boring thing I've ever seen. I don't need some filled with excitement every week, but it bores me to death.
Well, I think that the thing with Cash Cab is it's coastal. So and I was we were talking to David Michaels from the Emmys. I was talking about that we're bitter towards Cash Cab only because they keep beating us, and Ben Bailey keeps beating. Is that his name? Ben Bailey? No. Yeah, sure. We'll call him Ben Bailey. Is that his name? Alex, you're smart.
Sure.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay, so Ben Bailey beat Wayne, which whatever, and he seems like a really nice guy, and he's good on the show, and he shows up to work every day. You can tell, and he's good. But I have this theory that the New York voting base puts that thing over the top and gets it nominated every year. We thought we were going to be free at last of it because it's canceled.
But I don't understand how it got nominated. It was canceled early last year. What was that all about?
They said, I asked, because I'm bitter, I asked David from the Emmys how they got in. He goes, well, they aired new shows in 2012. And I'm like, well, what did they hold two back? And they ended their run in November and then threw two afterwards. Anyway, I don't mean to be really bitter about it.
Let's make a deal.
I don't mean to be really bitter about it. I'm
bitter. I'm always wrong about my picks. Like last year, and it's quoted everywhere. Last year I said Wayne should win. I thought he did unbelievable last year on Let's Make a Deal. I think he was nominated last year.
Yeah, he's been nominated every year he's done the show.
Yeah. But every single time it's Ben friggin' Bailey, and I just sit there going, are you kidding me?
Didn't last year? Who won last year? Todd Newton.
No, I'm sorry, Todd Newton.
Todd Newton won last year, and Ben Bailey won the 2 years before that or something like that.
Yeah.
And Todd Newton, again, I've known him for a long
might
time.
Be nominated. I was hoping Meredith might be in there for her last year of Millionaire, but no.
Did she not get nominated for host? I thought she did.
No, which is shocking because as much as people gripe about how Millionaire is right now, she has not been better at that show.
Huh. So who are the host nominees? Then who got nominated for host?
This was really funny. I actually pulled it up as we were talking. It was Steve Harvey, Ben friggin' Bailey, Wayne, Alex Trebek again, and some guy named Billy Eichner who does a show on Fuse that no one has ever heard of.
But he is that good.
Wow.
Apparently.
He transcends. Wait, that guy beat me out for a nomination?
It's unbelievable.
It's smaller
than
true. It's GSN.
You didn't get nominated. You should have.
Yeah. No, thank you. That would have been awesome. And then I would have been mortified that I would accidentally beat Wayne.
Oh,
you know what? A couple years ago, Carney Wilson got nominated for the Newlywed Game. I mean, if she got nominated, come on. I mean.
Yeah. All right. So your pick for best game show host and best game show, Feud and Harvey.
I would go. No, I would go host for Feud, and I say it every year, and it's not pandering. I swear to God, I think I've said it every single year. Let's Make a Deal should win for game show. It never seems to, because sitting in a cab is exciting to them, but.
Well, we're gonna shoot one. We're gonna shoot our episode in a cab, and that's the one we're gonna submit, and it's gonna be amazing. People will weep and write letters about it. Alex, any other?
I love that none of the current primetime games, which have bombed horribly and everyone has made fun of, but the networks are making a big deal. Not a single one ever gets. Oh, it's daytime. Never mind.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I sounded so stupid right there. Yeah.
Well, we'll edit it out. Yeah, no, we won't. Is there any other big news, big game news we need to get into?
I mean, this has been a really boring day, or a couple of days. I mean, there's been nothing public. No.
All right. Well, there. We ended on a high note. You think Deals should win? You think Steve Harvey should win? I don't know. I think Steve Harvey's amazing, and he is the reason for that ratings resurrection. I would still put Wayne up against him as far as pure talent and how much Wayne carries our show. It's like the MVP vote, for they just announced LeBron James, and I thought he handled it really well and everything. But if your supporting cast is amazing, which in Steve Harvey's defense is a really good format that is really well executed for him, and then he hits every ball out of the park as far as funny moments or any kind of innuendo or whatever. But if you look at what Wayne's doing for an hour every day, 175 episodes, carrying a show that basically has no format, I think the guy's unreal. And by the way, the executive producer is a moron on that show.
It's true story.
True
story.
Well, when the show came out at first, and I have no problem telling this to you also because you hosted the show, but because it was between that and Pyramid, basically, a couple years ago. And when they chose Let's Make a Deal, it's on the website. I can't delete it at this point. I said, I think this is a mistake.
I remember.
It's awfully close to The Price is Right. I said, are they really going to do that? And I talked to Michael Michael Davies right after it got turned down. And he said, they wanted something with the same theme. And I said, we'll see how it goes. And at first it was like, we'll see. But it's really, really, really good.
Thanks.
And it's been shifted to Wayne and Jonathan's talents. And I keep saying it should win, but people winning $15 sitting in a cab is more exciting, apparently. So.
All right, Alex Davis from Buzzerblog. Make sure you follow him at Buzzerblog. He's fantastic. Thank you for all the support you've been giving this podcast.
Oh, thank you.
He tweeted about it today, which was gorgeous and amazing.
I did. I wrote about it, and then I had a bunch of comments from people saying it's not working, and I clicked the link, and I said, I'm clicking the link, and I'm getting onto it right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's on, we're putting it on YouTube, on the Price is Right YouTube channel, too. So if there's any kind of podcast weirdness.
Did you hear the kerfuffle about that one?
No. What happened?
Did you read that one?
No.
Oh, that was funny. People are like, how dare he?
How dare I put a podcast up?
On the Price is Right, on YouTube.
Oh, wow. No, how did you hear about it, but I didn't?
I monitor that thing specifically to see what hate mail I get. There's a couple websites I monitor daily to see how much people hate me, and that's one of them.
What's that, Golden Road?
Daily, just to make sure.
Well, you know what we should do? I'm going to have Golden Road people call in to the show, and we're going to all sit down. We're going to break bread.
Oh, God.
And I'm going to let them fire away at questions, and that will be an amazing podcast.
It's like Christmas. Well, when you tweeted earlier, you said, email me questions, and that popped up on there. And my first thought was, I would love to be a fly on that wall.
People should. I mean, and I'll put them on. I'll call them and put them on. I'm totally for it. I mean, the whole idea of this is, to get the word out, give people a little insight into how we make what we make, and we get to talk to some of the people that are that have won on the shows or have had interesting experience on the shows, and we'll have the talent on, and it's really fun. Alex, we got to run. Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and thanks for being on the podcast.
No problem. Thank you very much.
All right, so there you go, Jen Bisgrove, a fantastic podcast. Thank you for filling in for Beth. You were quieter and taller.
Yeah, much taller.
It was like crazy.
My hair's not as crazy either.
It's unwieldy. Hopefully, she will be back with us next week. We learned a lot today. Shall we go through it?
Let's.
Leather vests don't make you look tougher, even if you're in a biker game, and if you have a little name tag on it, it makes you even look less tough.
I'm throwing away all my leather vests when I get home.
Especially if they're matching.
Right.
But if you had a bunch of girlfriends and you all wore leather vests, that would actually be kind of funny.
True.
Derek Bergen, who won $20,000 on Let's Make a Deal, served our country in the Air Force, is a better person than Jennifer Bisgrove.
True.
David Michaels from the Emmys is going to get us a good table this year, as opposed to us basically sitting at the valet last year.
And you heard it at the end. He guaranteed it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
he
I heard that.
It. It's recorded.
Yep. It's digital, yo.
Yeah.
So that'll be great. And then Alex Davis does not like cabs, but he does like deals. He's more bitter about Cash Cab than I am, and that's going away. You know what I love about that guy? Doesn't lack for passion and or anger. It's fantastic. Thanks for listening to the podcast. See you next week. Bye-bye.